too fast.
I'm going.
I'm taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and I've got two video replays for you today. This first replay you may recall from my patch 0.5.1 video, but we're going to take a look at the actual full battle. As I had mentioned, those battles that I'd shown during that little look at the new patch, those are all really good battles. So yesterday we took a look at two of them, I believe, and today we're going to take a look at another one, and then a new battle that later on that we'll take a look at on Land of Fire, the new map. I believe that's what it's called. That was an interesting battle as well. But for right now, taking a look at the old Mine Kaze, or Mini Kaze, however you want to pronounce it. You can see once again I am grouped up with Toad King today. He is in his Gen V. This is the, I believe that's how it's pronounced, not sure, but this is the Tier 5 Russian Destroyer. I actually got the Tier 5 Russian Destroyer last night, yes. And in case you were wondering, I did do maiden voyages in the York and the Kagero, so I have those videos. The York I'm probably going to show because it was fairly typical. The Kagero one I found a little drawn out, to be quite frank, so I might have to cut it down a little just to make it viewable. But they were very typical. Thotgor maiden voyages in both those ships, and we have to do a maiden voyage in the Gen V now as well, now that I have her. So that's where I'm up with the ships now. I'm sort of lost right now at this point. I'm not sure what I should be working on, because for the longest time I have been working on credits in order to get ships. Now not so sure, what my next ship should be that I'm going to go for. What I should be saving for. Obviously there are some modules and some upgrades that I'm going to be buying, but those aren't a whole lot of credits, and some modules that I want to buy for the ships themselves as well, but again, not really concerned about those. In terms of ships, that's what I'm sort of looking at. I'm about maybe 30 or 40,000 experience away from the New Orleans, the Tier 8 American cruiser. I haven't really been playing the Pensacola a whole lot because I don't really enjoy the Pensacola, but I'm almost there. And then I suppose I could try for the Tier 9 Japanese battleship, the Izumo. Yeah, I have my Amagi not fully upgraded as of yet. I'm missing the last hull and then the final range increase, but that is an option I've been considering as well. Anyway, just sort of things on my mind, I guess. Now, looking at the battle. So you can notice here on Twin Brothers, we talked about it before, but there's some of the changes they made to the island placement on this map. So you can see what Toad King and I are doing is we are just using these islands as cover to skirt around all of these enemies and try to get behind them. Try and outflank these guys so we can start torpedoing them from the rear or from, one of their sides. And that's the plan right now, and it is working really well. I know I've talked about it in the patch video, how nice it is to see these changes to Twin Brothers, but this video really shows what you can do with the changes that were made in this battle. Two brothers, not twin brothers. God, Thotgor. Anyway, you can really take a look and see us, use these changes to our advantage right here. I mean, there's Toad King there. He's stopped. He's smoked, and he's just going to start putting guns into those guys. I have the option, because I have a longer range of my torpedoes at 7 kilometers, of actually getting in here and doing some damage. For the most part, he and I, Toad King and I, are working together on this. We're sticking together for the most part, and we're shooting at similar enemies. We are going to separate shortly here in the battle. The only reason for this is because, we're both in destroyers, but pairing up with a Japanese destroyer with a Russian destroyer might not be the best thing to do. The reason for it is my Japanese destroyer is a lot stealthier. I have longer range torpedoes, so I can really chase people down in this thing. Whereas with the Gen V, your hands aren't as free to do what they want, I guess you could say. You have shorter range torpedoes, and your guns are your primary armament there. And as soon as you start firing guns when you are working with within the limits of concealment, it doesn't work out very well. So that's what we're taking a look at right now, actually. You can see the two ships that I have, I'm aiming at them right now. These are the guys that I'm going to start chasing down. And yeah, I grabbed myself, whatever. You can literally say for this, because this is my first time playing on Two Brothers here since it changes, you could literally say that the island popped out of nowhere and it would be okay. But only this one time. I only get it this one time. There is a Nuremberg, so he's a pretty big threat. He's got lots of range and he's got really good guns on that ship. So I need to keep this guy in mind and really emphasize not getting spotted right now. I was fairly confident about those torpedoes that I had launched at him. Unfortunately, though, no, he's much better than that. Able to avoid them, much to my dismay. But still, I have 3 enemies over here now. I mean, there's the Nuremberg, I believe there was a Miyoko, and there's another enemy there in the background. Not sure what it is. Oh, it's the Imagi. Yeah, so battleship back there as well. So we need to, it's not the Imagi, don't know what it is, whatever. So my plan here is to chase him down, and you can see the Toad King is now behind me, and he's staying in the background, using the range of his guns to his advantage at this time, because like I said, he can't, in that ship, he can't chase me down, he can't chase down these enemy ships in that Tier 5 Russian destroyer, because he's just going to get spotted. I mean, you could make the argument that, yeah, he can chase him down, but if he does that, he's not actually going to be able to shoot guns or torpedoes without being spotted. Whereas in the Minikaze where I am now, yeah, I have no problems doing this. I'm not spotted. 7-kilometer torpedo range, so my spotting concealment range, I think, is, what, 6.3? now, I believe. So yeah, I can launch my torpedoes without getting seen and not have to worry about it. My problem right now is that I've got these cruisers that I have to deal with, and cruisers are fairly difficult to hit on the run like this. I mean, if you catch them in a bad spot, yeah, you can do some really good damage. But if they're maneuvering around, going at full speed, not going in a straight line, then you're going to have a difficult time actually hitting a cruiser. But not giving up. So now at this point in the battle, Toad King and I are coming together once again, and you can see that we've pushed more or less all the way around on the western front, or rather the western side, and the enemy is more or less in a full retreat on this side at this time. We have an ally, or had an ally over there, who did make a run down the channel. It was an allied destroyer. Unfortunately, he died. So that's not too great, and now we are aware of the enemy destroyer that is in their cap, and he's either going to run up the channel, or he's going to circle back, realizing that there's some enemy destroyers on the way, and he's going to do something about us. I managed to launch off 2 quick torpedo shots there. I've got the Nuremberg, and he sees me. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be firing my guns at this point, because yeah, he knows exactly where I am. So I'm going to turn, launch another round of torpedoes, and I'm trying to make my way back to Toad King before I launch my smoke. I want both of us to benefit from the smoke here, because both of us are being spotted by the Nuremberg. So here I go. I do a sharp cut because I don't want to cut him off. If Toad King is going to be firing torpedoes, I don't want to get in his way for him not to be able to fire those. So there we go, pop the smoke, and Toad King has popped his smoke as well. So we've got a good smoke screen working now here to really try and get these guys. There are the torpedoes that I launched off the Nuremberg. That was awesome. Finally get a torpedo hit, and I managed to kill him. Excellent. He didn't see them coming, I imagine, and it was just too late for him to actually maneuver out of the way, so I did manage to finally get that guy. We still have some other ships to deal with, though. I mean, still, right? I think the battleship back there, I think it's a Congo. Not so sure on it, but it could be a Congo back there. So both Toad King and I managed to avoid the torpedoes that were fired at us from the enemy destroyer. So now we know that the enemy destroyer did not go up the channel, and he is, in fact, going to stay in his cap and defend. We can see him right there. There he is there. So we need to do something about this guy. I am able to take a shot at him on torpedoes, but I hold off because I don't want Toad King to circle back around and run into my torpedoes, right? I want to leave that avenue back there available to him to escape if he needs it. Same thing here. As we're coming around the island, I'm not firing torpedoes because I don't want to hit Toad King in case he comes around and decides that he doesn't need to escape, he needs to push. So things to keep in mind when you're fighting with your allies and you are in a destroyer. You need to anticipate their movements, because you do not want to hit them. If you hit them with a torpedo and you kill them or do any sort of damage with that torpedo, it is 100% your fault, no matter what the ally may have done to get himself in that situation. Your torpedo, your fault. There's the enemy destroyer. It's a Mitsuki, I believe. He just launched all his torpedoes. We know that because just dodged them. So, blam. There we go. Get some nice shots into him, and he's gone. That's my second kill, so that's not too bad. Now, Toad King and I are both capping the enemy base. We still have enemy ships to deal with, but for the most part, they're pretty far off, and we don't necessarily have to be too worried about them. At least I don't. I mean, Toad King is taking a lot of fire because, again, he has to fire his guns in order to make the best use of his destroyer. Where I'm firing torpedoes, I don't have to worry about it too much. I see the bogue over there. I really want to get that bogue. So I'm, turning around, I'm lining up my torpedoes. He's within my range, just barely, but as long as he stays where he's going, I should be able to hit him. And luckily as well for me, I was able to launch that full spread without leaving the enemy caps to make sure that I don't lose the cap points that I've gained so far, because the objective here is obviously to win. The enemy only is down to 3 ships remaining, so that's also working in our favor here now as well. Our allies who went down the east side of the map were managed to clear out all the enemies from that side of the map, and they are now grouping up with us, helping, just put final shots into the enemies over there. There goes some nice torpedo hits on the enemy aircraft carrier. I get him, get the devastating strike, and that is my 3rd kill for the battle. Fantastic. And you can see that we almost have this enemy base completely capped. So anytime now we are going to win this. Just a matter of seeing what other enemy ships we can, I can manage to destroy, or that the team can manage to destroy. With only 2 enemy ships remaining, yeah, not to put the emphasis on, getting those last kills and getting them gone, but we have lots of time left, and I don't see why we can't take these guys out. So it turns out the Miyoko I thought I was shooting at the whole time was in fact an Oba. There he is there. Toad King has some nice torpedoes on the way for that guy though, so there's really nothing he can do to escape that. There he goes. Toad King gets him. Fantastic. And the devastating strike on him as well, so that was great. So now we're just down to the last enemy battleship. It is a Congo. He doesn't have the final hull upgrade, so yeah, you know that he doesn't have as many hit points as he potentially could had he had, or if he had the actual final hull upgrade for the Congo. Not to say that it's bad that you don't have it. I understand that you have to research and get on there, right? It's just unfortunate for him. But we are chasing this guy down. I'm not staying in the cap. Nope. Not interested in doing it. I'm going to try and get the last kill here. It is a little greedy for sure. Luckily though, our aircraft carrier, look at that, gets some nice torpedoes hits on the Congo. He has very little health left, so now I probably am not even going to get into range before he's dead, because he's flooding, he's on fire, he's taking damage from all the allied ships that I have remaining. There he goes, and he's gone. And that is victory, yes. So the changes to Two Brothers are really nice to see. You can, play the map not really differently, but fairly differently than what you would have before, and it really makes it easy, or gives you the option of outflanking the enemy if you so choose. You can see, I was 2nd overall, or 3rd overall. Toad King was 2nd. Got some money, some credits, and experience, so it wasn't too bad at all. Fairly good match. Now, next we're looking at Land of Fire. I'm in my Miyoko, Toad King here as well is in his Miyoko, and we are grouped up as well with Razia Tanka, and he is in his Atago. So I'm just going to refer to Razia as Ray, just because it makes it a lot easier. So here we are, we all spawn together and we are all in cruisers. And we're all in really similar cruisers. Now obviously Toad King and I are in the exact same cruiser. But Ray is in the Thotgor, which is essentially a Miyoko, just a little more hit points, now has a repair ability because we're after the patch. Same top speed, maybe a different placement of the torpedoes. That's really about it. So we are all going to be sticking together and just fighting it out. We determined that we are going to go to A. We are going to be moving into that cap and to take that cap. That's our objective here in this battle. Hopefully the team will be able to, secure the B cap point, maybe the C cap point. B would be preferable because it'll be right next to A, a lot easier for all of us to support. But if they manage to take the C cap point, that's good as well, because at least we'll have 2 of the 3 cap points, and that's ultimately what you want. I just find it really hard to support a situation where you have capped A and C, because it's really hard to shoot across the map if you're in anything but a battleship. Just my thoughts on that. But anyway, we are off to A. You can see really explicitly here as well, and I've talked about it before, especially in yesterday's video with the Cleveland train, the bunny ears on that Cleveland train there. But anyway, you can really see the value of this new division spawning. Like, we are instantly grouped up and we are instantly in our own little fleet here proceeding to A, and this is a pretty big attack force that we have here. These 3 cruisers working together, there's not a whole lot that is going to be able to stand up to us, and keeping in mind too that we are at the tier 7 range here, so there are tier 8s in this battle. Ray himself is in a tier 8, so together we are definitely a threat, and we will definitely be able to take down things like Tirpitz's, North Carolinas, Amagis, really hard targets at this tier 8 level. We're not going to have an issue with those at all, as long as we can work together. And keeping in mind too, when I say work together, I also mean, using each other's hit points. We're 3 ships here, so we have 3 times the hit points, so we can spread the damage amongst ourselves. That way keep ourselves alive and in turn do more damage to the enemy. There's a Pensacola. I really wanted to get this guy gone just right away. I had big envisions of doing exactly what Toad King did there. Just destroying the Pensacola. That was awesome. Good shot by Toad King as well. Now we have some more enemies we need to deal with. What is the target out there? I think that is the Tirpitz that we're shooting at. Yes, it is. And then we had some other cruisers around as well that we need to deal with. There is another Pensacola, and I believe that there is a Miyoko as well. So these 3 ships are what we're facing off now against versus, our 3 cruisers. So we're all kind of staying behind this island here at this time, just because we want to use it as cover. You can see I'm lining up my torpedoes, getting ready to make a strike on the Tirpitz. He's within my range, and I have a good opportunity here to get some really nice ambush shots on him. Unfortunately, he's slowing down. Yeah, I launch off both mine in case he does speed up, but with him slowing down like that, all those torpedoes are going to miss, but man, it was close. All he had to do was keep at the same speed, and I would have taken him out with that whole spread there. Because you can see I launched all narrow spread, so all 6 I think would have hit him, and that would have taken him out. But he was a little smarter than that. Smarter, maybe luckier. You decide. But just now taking a look at the other enemies that are around as well. Of course, Toad King is calling out targets for us to focus on. I am focusing on the targets that are being called out for me. Obviously, yeah, there's the Tirpitz there. Toad King got some torpedoes off on him as well, and Ray as well took a shot at getting some torpedoes. So Toad King gets 1 hit on the Tirpitz, and then all of Ray's torpedoes, I do believe, miss, unfortunately. So, yeah, but still, the 3 of us have managed to get this Tirpitz down to, quarter health, basically. And now I'm going to fire more torpedoes from the starboard side. Had to turn my head there to figure that one out. But those torpedoes never actually make it because the Tirpitz is gone. He is almost dead. I've got my armor piercing on the way out to him. I was firing high explosive at him, just to burn him to death. But I switch over to armor piercing because I want to have the armor piercing ready for when I start shooting at these cruisers, like the Miyoko right there. That guy This guy wanted to get gone very, very much. It was really hard to do, though. He kept well, to his credit, he is a good Miyoko player, a good cruiser player. He was maneuvering like a banshee, and all of the shots that I put into him more or less miss often enough. Switching back over to the Pensacola now, because the Miyoko, he's out of my sight. I can't see him. We do also have to keep in mind of the Fuso, who's on half health. So he's working his way over to us, and as of yet, my whole team hasn't actually captured any points at all. You can see they are fighting it out down at C, and we are still continuing to fight up here at A. We are making headway at A, though. The Turpus is gone, Fuso's at half health, the Miyoko and the Pensacola are still there as well, though, but the Pensacola, as you can see, is now down to half health. He took some big shots wasn't me, but it was probably either Ray or Toad King who got some nice citadels on him, which is fairly easy to do because it's a Pensacola. At any range at all, you can expect to get some nice citadels on that ship if you have a nice salvo coming into the broadside, right at the waterline. Oh yes, that is going to be citadels out the yin-yang. The Miyoko has come back into sight here, so we can see him out there, but yeah, he's at an angle and it's really hard to actually judge it. He starts turning, so I anticipate that he's going to turn and do a whole broadside there, so I place my shells where I think he's going to be at that time, which is what you want to do. I like these tracers, or well, I guess we always had tracers on the shells before the patch, but now they just seem a lot more pronounced, and I really like it. It just adds aesthetically, just makes it a little more pleasing to see, and you can actually follow the shells a lot better now as well, just to see where they're incoming from. There is the Fuso, so he's almost dead, so we're going to try and do something about that guy. I've got some high explosive loading up right now so that I can set fires to him, because that's the plan. I'm not actually going to have the time to put enough shots into this guy and kill him, but if I can at least get a few shots into him, set a fire, maybe 2, then I might be able to get get the kill on him anyway, get that guy gone, or help someone else on my team get the kill, so we don't have to worry about the Fuso anymore. Because frankly, a full broadside from the Fuso is going to be devastating to my Miyoko. Yeah, it'll just destroy me. The enemy Miyoko popped up again, so I'm queuing up armor piercing once again. Don't be afraid to switch between your shells, especially when you're in a cruiser like this. It's fairly important that you're choosing your ammunition wisely based on the type of cruiser you're in, the target you're firing at, and the distances involved, to really make the best use of your cruiser. That's what you want to do. In a battleship it's fairly standard. You should be firing armor piercing all the time at anything, but your cruiser, you have the luxury of choosing which ammunition type you're going to be firing depending on the situation that you find yourself in, right? So now you can see, we've moved into A, we've capped A. The battle at C has been won. There's a New Orleans that has reared his ugly head for us now to deal with, and we're slowly managing to cap B as well. So shortly, we should have all 3 cap points. In terms of enemy ships, you can see we've only lost 2 ships. The rest, like the enemies, they've lost a lot more ships than we have, and this is turning into a full-on rout here, just because they don't have the coordination that we do. And again, you can see the value of this whole group spawning thing, right? Like, we are really kicking some ass here in these 3 cruisers. Lining up torpedoes on the enemy out there. He's within the range, so I launch off the torpedoes, hoping that as he comes around the island, they'll be right in place to take him out. Won't have to worry about him. So I'm switching back over to the Miyoko. Yep, same Miyoko. This guy. That son of a bitch. The Pensacola is still going as well, and the New Orleans is down to half health. I get a nice citadel hit on the Miyoko. Finally, only 1 though. So yeah, bit of damage to him, not too bad. At least he can't repair it. I've got Ray right here, so I'm slowing down to make sure I don't hit him, because I really, really don't want to hit him. He's slowing down as well, just to throw off the enemy aim here at this point. We're trying, well, obviously, we're avoiding each other as well, but it does help to throw off the enemy aim here. We saw some Allied torpedoes out there in the water going towards the Colorado. Those are my torpedoes, yes. Got the Colorado, everything worked out, he is gone. That was fantastic. So excellent job. There's our only 3 enemy ships remaining. So, we've got this in the bag. They have like, what, 81 points left? Nah, they don't have this. But I do really like this map, this Land of Fire map. I like this concept of the larger to smaller cap points they have going on here, making for some really interesting gameplay. You can see that, the gameplay up here at A was fairly ranged, right? Any ships that got close to us, because we're in this division of these 3 cruisers together, we were able to work together and coordinate torpedo strikes, coordinate our artillery barrages, so really work those ships down and just take them out. And now we're just working on the ships that are remaining out at the extreme edges of our range, like the Miyoko, the Pensacola I think is still alive, and the New Orleans. And those are the only 3 enemy ships actually that are remaining, I believe anyway. Can't quite see on this tiny little preview window, but yeah, this battle went really well. No issues here at all. We'll wait actually here just momentarily. It's going to wrap up. There is the enemy Miyoko once again. I really wanted to kill that guy just because we have been fighting him since the beginning of the battle. There he goes. Fantastic. He's finally gone, and Allied managed to take him out. Great. Now it's the Pensacola and the New Orleans. Just these 3 guys remaining. There's the Pensacola. I was figuring he was on fairly low health, so that was the guy I was going to aim for. New Orleans, though, gets taken out by an ally. That ends the map. The enemies just don't have any more points. They just can't do it anymore. So victory overall, 130,000 credits, not too shabby at all. You can see on the team results that this was a team effort. I mean, there were, honorable mentions obviously to the Kiev player, but for the most part we were all around the same amount of damage and experience earned, so that was great to see. So that's today's video. Hopefully you can really see, how we can use our teamwork now a whole lot more effectively with the divisions, and really how to exploit some of the changes to the maps, i.e. the island changes on Two Brothers. So thank you so much for sticking around, watching the video through. Leave any comments you have for me. I always love reading those. Hit the old like button if you liked today's video, and do remember to subscribe if you are not a subscriber. As always, folks, I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.